Rob Star Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Appreciate everyone in here. Happy Friday to every one of you guys. Even I'm going to call my trolls the keyboard warriors, even my keyboard warriors in here. But listen, I'm not going to I'm going to try to be more mindful of what I say, um, to people. So, everybody has a right to their opinion. And I want this to be a place where everybody can come and voice that. Um, just not be disrespectful. That's all. Right. That's all I ask. Don't be disrespectful, and I won't be disrespectful to you. Right. You give me the same respect, and I'll give you the same respect. I think the last episode, I got a little out of hand on my end. So I apologize to you viewers and other people that come in here and at least show your support, right? Because even the people that do come in here, I notice that they are subscribed, even my trolls. So, I have to be thankful that they even subscribe, right? And they come in and they actually support me. Yeah, actually, in a way, even though they are trolling, but I have to, be more open minded. So I wanted to come on here and, apologize about that. But today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be breaking down a couple things. How close is this Panthers roster? We're really going to be diving deep into this roster today. Then we're going to talk about, we're going to be breaking down this defensive line depth chart for the camp. And then we're going to go through a couple questions I think that need to be answered heading into this Panthers training camp, because again, we're heading right into it. But guys, 50 likes equals the live goal, right? Right now, I could care less about your cash apps. I could care less about your memberships. I could care less about the subscribers. Like, I just want 50 likes. That's all I ask, is just pounding the like button. That's the best way you can support the channel. And the reason why that is because I think a lot of people don't realize that the more likes that we get on this channel, the more people come to the channel that maybe don't even, know about the channel, right? So that's why I asked for 50 likes. If you want to go further, be a subscriber, become a member, that's great. Good news for you guys who are subscribers and members. There's always giveaways. There's always something that's going to be given back to you for your support on my channel. If you become a member, there is going to be a membership giveaway at the end of the month. We're going to be doing that throughout the rest of the year. And even on to next year, right? Because I'm going to still be here, right? So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Appreciate everyone's love and support, and happy Friday. So let's get into it. We got a lot of people in. We got some people in here already. Got Raw Walk, Marcos Cash. Feel free to get in the chat anytime. Feel free to get in the chat. As of right now, as we go throughout today's live stream. So appreciate everyone in here. Yeah. Give me a second. I'm going to take a sip of water. All right. Let's get this party started. Okay. All right. So are the Panthers close? Right? Are they close? Is this Panthers roster close to a championship roster? As we're looking towards the 2024 season, that's a big question, right? Like, how close are we to assembling a championship roster? And obviously, we're going to break that down today. I'm going to break it down position by position. We're going to go through some healthy dose of details and an analysis. All right. So, of course, we got to start it off with the quarterback. The Bryce is right? Bryce Young's potential, right? Let's talk about the quarterback, Bryce Young. Heisman winning sensation, right? Rocky rookie season, whatever you want to call it. But hey, Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions in his first year, and he turned out pretty decent, right? The Panthers are banking on him, on Bryce Young, yeah, just alone by his talent and growth, right? Now, he has shown flashes, right? But the problem is we need to see more of those flashes, right? Like chat, consistency is key. Consistency is key when it comes down to this roster or to Bryce Young. Consistency is key with this kid, right? Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to fix the thing here. So consistency is key for him, right? So if Young can make that sophomore leap that we talked about, that Jake Delhomme kind of wants to, that expects him to do, what Geno Smith did, that definitely helps the championship hopes. But I'm not here to say that we're going to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that this again, we're breaking it down to see if it is now. So let me continue before anybody just jumps on me. Okay. All right. But it does give us hope when your quarterback starts showing more of those flashes and starts showing more consistency. All right. Now, a tale of two ball carriers, right? The running backs, Jonathan Brooks and Chuba Hubbard. I'm really looking at these two guys, right? Because we got the guy who's entering his final year of his rookie deal in Chuba, right? You got the high hopes of Jonathan Brooks, who was this highly drafted prospect out of Texas, new draft pick. We traded up, we made the trade with the Rams, then we traded it up for him. He was on pace before he tore that ACL at Texas to really break Bijan Robinson's records. Honestly, I think he would have, right? I mean, he had over 1,000 yards up to that point and 10 touchdowns. So, but when we talk about Hubbard is that reliable, unspectacular running back, right? Brooks, on the other hand, could be the explosive playmaker they need. Now, Brooks can hit the ground running, no pun intended there. The backfield will be the strength of this offense, right? Okay. Hold on one second. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. Wide receivers. We're searching for that stardom. Deontay Johnson. You got Adam Thielen, of course, the young guns. You got Xavier Legette. Okay. So Deontay Johnson is the marquee name here. Okay. He's the guy that has proven to be a go-to guy in the NFL during his time there in Pittsburgh. So can he be that true number one? I think so. I think when you got Adam Thielen, who is a savvy veteran, who brings that experience, reliability, that's what I call him, Mr. Reliable. Then you have these guys like Xavier Legette, who just came in. You got Terrace Marshall Jr., right? Can he stay healthy? Can he consistently be on the field and make some plays? Jonathan Mingo. I'm not signing off on Jonathan Mingo by any means, right? I think this group has the potential, but they need to turn that potential into production. And if they do, then this gives Young that formidable arsenal, and then that consistency that we were talking about earlier can be, could come to fruition, right? Could come to fruition. All right. Next, a position influx. So the tight end position, right? So Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas, Jadavion Sanders. The tight end position has been a carousel mediocrity for the Panthers ever since Greg Olsen left, right? Tommy Tremble is a blocking machine, but he's yet to show he's a receiving threat. Has shown some potential, but not that full potential we were looking for. The problem with Ian Thomas is he's been inconsistent. But again, I think that when he came here, he looked like he had all the potential in the world. So can he consistently show what we drafted him to be, right? Then you bring in Jadavion Sanders, who is a wild card, I think, but I think a good wild card, a guy who could possibly be someone we could develop quickly, bring into that tight end position, and can finally be a strength of this offense. Otherwise, it's just more of the same. So, for the tight end position, We got to see more consistency out of this group and see more production, right? And I think all these guys can do so. It's just remained to be seen, right? Again, offensive line, protecting the franchise. Ike Ekwonu, right? And the big uglies. That's what I like to call them. Ike Ekwonu and the big uglies, right? Ike is the linchpin to this offensive line. Let's be honest. He's had his ups and downs, right? But the talent is there, right? The rest of this line is solid but unspectacular. I mean, for this Panthers team to compete, he needs to become that franchise left tackle, right? They drafted him to be. The rest of the line, they've got to hold the fort. If they can keep Young upright, then this offense has a chance to shine now. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm getting blown up over here. Let me I gotta send something here. Give me a second. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, that's been sent. Awesome. Okay. The front line fighters. Again, so that here is another thing. The defensive line. As you can see, Derek Brown, Shy Toto, O'Shawn Robinson. Derek Brown is the beast in the middle, right? He's the leader on our defense. Okay. All right. So Shy Toto and O'Shawn Robinsons are no slouch either. I think Shy Toto has the potential to prove that his worth there in the middle. But the front line is stout. The depth is a concern for me. If the backups can step up, that line can dominate. And if not, the starters will wear down, and this defense is going to struggle. The depth here is key for a championship caliber front. We're going to dive more into that this group here shortly. But that's my take on it. Right now, we're talking about it. What is this roster championship worthy? Right? The linebackers. Okay. The enforcers. That's what the linebackers are. Jadeveon Clowney and friends. Jadeveon Clowney brings that star power, pass rushing paralysis. Now, beyond him, there are question marks. This linebacker core needs a leader. And Clowney at 31 might not be the long-term answer, which I don't believe at the age of 31 that he is. But if younger players like DJ Wanum, Kavlon Chazen, even Trevor Wallace, Michael Barrett, the list goes on, right? If any of these guys can rise to the occasion, this group can be special. Otherwise, it's a one-man show, right? But again, we need other guys that can step up. DJ Wanham, we're curious to see because he's coming off that injury. We're curious to see what DJ Johnson can do, right? We're curious to see if Kavlon Chasen can ever live up to the hype that he was when he was drafted out of LSU to the Jaguars. So as of right now, this group can be special. It's right now, I feel like, unfortunately, we're relying on a 31-year-old Jadeveon Clowney, and it's a one-man band. But again, until proven otherwise. Now the secondary, guarding the airspace. You got J.C. Horn, Dane Jackson. Then there's the defensive back dilemma, right? J.C. Horn, when healthy, is a shutdown corner, right? We can all agree to that. Dane Jackson stepping into a starting role with a lot to prove. This guy's been a third at best corner, right? So the rest of the secondary is a mixed bag. So if Horn can stay healthy on the field, Jackson can elevate his game, the secondary will be formidable. I still think even if then, just in case injuries do happen and inconsistencies can plague us, and it has before, they're going to need to bring somebody else in here, whether it's Gilmore, whether it's Adoree Jackson, Xavier and Howard, those two guys that are still out there. It's going to be a long season if they don't. And I know that we're going to be targeting a lot of certain areas to this roster once the waiver wires start. And I think corner's got to be one of them. Probably number one, right? The X factor. It's these two guys, really. The coaching, Dave Canales, this new crew, right? Dave Canales brings in this breath of fresh air, new energy, new ideas. His work with quarterbacks in the past is promising because for Bryce Young's development, right? This coaching staff's ability to implement their schemes and get the most out of their players is going to be crucial. So if Canales can channel his inner Sean McVay kind of ordeal, then we're in good hands, right? So how close are we? How close are we? We have the pieces. I think that we have a potential franchise QB, a mix of veteran, young talent at the skill positions, a solid but unproven offensive line, a defensive line up front that can be dominant, especially against the run, I think. The secondary linebackers, those are where my question marks lie, and the center position, right? But there's potential, right? The coaching staff is the wild card that could bring it all together. Now, are the Panthers championship roster right now? Not quite. Okay. They're on the cusp with the right development, a bit of luck with injuries, a coaching staff that can maximize the talent on this roster. They could make a serious playoff push. But once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen, right? This team might surprise us all for all I know. But right now, is this roster championship worthy? No. They're on the cusp. And with the poll question of the day, if I'm voting, right? If I'm voting on that poll question of today, I'm probably putting 2 to 3 years. Because again, we went out, right? We went out and literally went out and got franchise guards and Damian Lewis and of course Robert Hunt. Okay. That's where we spent our money. We spent all our money, and I wouldn't say all of it, but we spent the majority on the offensive line. You can't fix everything in one off season. I think that's a lot of what people need to realize, that you're not going to fix everything in one off season. Not everything's going to be perfect. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And I think a lot of people need to understand that, right? We all here as Panthers fans just want to be competitive. We just want to see good football. We want to see competitive football on the field. That's all we want, right? We don't want to see what we had last year. We want to see progress. And again, how close are they? I would say 2 to 3 years, right? Hoping the 2-year mark, because this is year one, right? You know what I mean? This is the 2-year mark. This is year one, Mark. We got another year. All right. Wasted Banana says, bang, bang. It's Kansas City Chiefs gang. Patrick Mahomes is a GOAT. Wasted Bananas. Okay. It's got to be a wonderful life being a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I tell you, I'm not looking forward to playing them. I'll be honest with you that. I'm not looking forward to playing the Kansas City Chiefs this year. But it's going to be cool to see Patrick Mahomes live. I will say that. So there's that. But again, so Waste Bananas. It's crazy. We're getting a lot of different on this channel. I'm wondering if it's because of the Roundtable Sports that we're getting all these different, the different fan bases, right? Because, I mentioned to you guys, I signed a deal with Roundtable Sports. So, and they have all the divisions. So that's I'm wondering why we're getting them all. Because we've gotten 49ers fans, we got Bears fans, now we got a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But hey, Wasted Bananas, welcome. Welcome. All right, let's break down this Panthers defensive line depth chart for the 2024 camp. Now, for those of you, we all know that training camp's around the corner. We've been breaking down the roster, kind of each positional group at a time. We've already done the offense, right? I really want to kind of start getting into the defense now. So this defensive line, right? The biggest question is, can that man in the back there, Derek Brown, repeat that Pro Bowl success he had back in 2024? Because he was an absolute beast last season, right? And he led all NFL defensive linemen and tackles. He was ranked fourth among interior defensive linemen by Pro Football Focus, which we all know how PFF is. So you kind of sometimes with PFF guys, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Some of it, okay. Some of it they're pretty good on, but I'm starting to notice things that we need to start kind of taking it with a grain of salt, right? They do have a lot of good facts, though. I will give him that. But, anyways, his stellar performance last year, right? That earned him that nice shiny contract, right? A $96 million contract, right? What'd you say? I fucked up telling Broski about you. Marcos, it's all good, man. Broski's welcome. Again, we're not I'm not gonna let that stuff get back to me. So, but again, Derek Brown, stellar performance last year. Can he repeat it? It comes down to with the fact also that Ajir Evra and the defensive line coach, new defensive line coach Todd Wash, are both of those guys are returning. So I think Brown is set up to build on that breakout campaign he had last year. The addition of a guy like O'Shawn Robinson, who brings in another big body presence, should mean fewer double teams for Derek Brown. If he keeps up his dominant play, that hefty contract extension, it will look like a bargain. Again, the Brown was basically the only bright spot last year, otherwise, of that 2023 season. So if he can continue to be that defensive cornerstone, reach even greater heights, then we'll be in good shape there. We already got one of the league's top run stoppers with new defensive additions, and he won't have to carry that entire load, I do feel like, from the defensive line standpoint. When we look at this depth chart, you got Derek Brown. He's that titan on the defensive line, the Pro Bowl star, right? But then we got guys like Shy Tuttle, kind of this unique nose tackle who had his up and downs last year, first year being here, but has the potential, right? We just need to see him be what he was there in New Orleans, right? And then the big body addition, of course, was O'Shawn Robinson. Now, I think Robinson arrival forces offensive lines really when it comes to looking at our defensive line. It's going to force a lot of offensive lines to choose their double team matchups between O'Shawn and Brown because we know Brown's already that well-established threat there. But the thing is that Tuttle needs to step up with his game and with those two bookending him. So I need to see Tuttle. He needs to step up with those two bookending him. So I think that with Derek Brown and O'Shawn, it's going to give offensive line fits to figure out who they should double team. And then it's also going to benefit guys with the outside linebacker position, whether it's, DJ Wandum or Clowney. Now, the guys on the depth chart, Nick Thurman, LeBron Ray, both of those guys showed potential last year, but they kind of have a leg up in the backup battle. When it comes to Jaden Crometti, 6th-round pick, he'll get every chance to shine. You got Junior Aho, the international exemption, likely to head for the practice squad, I think. You got Ulio Muale, Popo Umave, TJ Smith. They're all kind of competing to earn a spot on this backup lineman position. But I think a person that maybe we need to watch, and I think a lot of people really haven't talked about enough when it comes to this defensive line, is really our draft pick in Jaden Crometti out of Mississippi State. He didn't really, when we look at his tape and when I looked at his tape and you look at his stats, he didn't have this like prolific college career, right? But then obviously Dan Morgan and company saw potential in him, and that's why they went out and drafted him. Now, again, The guy's 6'4", 301 pounds. He's got the size, the versatility to play all three spots on the line. I really see him more as a true nose tackle, in my opinion, but we need that versatility there for role players, right? And I think Cromartie could be a guy like that, right? I know he was a day 3 pick. That doesn't really guarantee him a roster spot, but I think he has a solid chance in this camp if he performs well. And in preseason, his competition with Ray and Thurman, who had strong showings last year, but Cromartie's versatility might give him the edge that he needs to make this team, right? So Derek Brown, can he continue that dominance? The impact of the new additions, the rising potential new stars like Cromartie, I think these are all going to be factors moving forward, and to watch as this camp and this preseason breaks down. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Eric Blair goes, maybe Bananas can bring the Chiefs winning and luck this way. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. What's good, everyone? What's up, Day One Panthers? Late getting here. It's all good, man. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, Bananas. He looks like he already is. Marco's my guy. What's good, fam? Hope you're having a good day. Clay, my guy, always speaking facts. I try, my friend. Panthers Day One, I try. It's in a fact a great day. Thank you, sir. Hope all is well on your end. Yes, sir. Besides not being able to sleep past 3 nights, I'm sorry to hear that, Day One. Sorry to hear that. Tuttle is only here because he is Brown's buddy, in my opinion. We shall see. We shall see. All right. The biggest questions that need to be answered at the Carolina Panthers trading camp. All right. The biggest questions. So, chat, like, what are y'all's biggest questions, right? I'm curious to know what y'all's biggest questions are heading into this training camp. Right? For Carolina Panthers fans, what are y'all's biggest questions? My first question to you guys, and you can sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. Can Bryce Young live up to the hype? That's the question. Can Bryce Young live up to the hype? Right? Because this is the time of the year when hope springs internally, right? Every team is undefeated. Everyone's in the best shape of their lives, right? And that's what this part is about. So for us, training camp is packed with intriguing potential, a few question marks that need some serious attention. So can Bryce Young live up to the hype? Right? That's my biggest question heading into here. Dario Sunchild. What's up, man? Appreciate you joining the live stream, Dario. Right? This is my first question. Because first and foremost, all eyes are going to be on him, right? And now I know this is training camp, but this kid had a rough go in his first season. I think the talent is there. I think the Panthers have invested heavily, and we're hoping him to be that franchise guy, right? Training camp is where he needs to start showing he's ready to make that leap. He is a leader. Now, again, I don't need him to be that vocal leader. Everybody leads differently in the NFL. Certain quarterbacks lead with their voices. Certain quarterback leads with their actions. Everybody leads differently, I feel like, right? But then another question is will he develop chemistry with those new receivers? Can he command this offense with confidence? And most importantly, can he avoid another dreaded season, right? All right. The development is the hottest storyline for Bryce Young. You had this whole new shiny offensive playbook, courtesy of Dave Canales. Also, the young quarterback has all the tools at his disposal Will he connect with guys like Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, right? How about the new kid on the block, Xavier Legette, right? Can he connect with those guys, him? Because all eyes are going to be on the fact of Young's progress and poise under pressure, right? We're going to be also be looking, can he use his footwork correctly? Can he step in and make the throws? Has he worked on that deep ball accuracy? Is he getting that ball out in that 2.7 seconds, right? Is he doing all the things that this coaching staff is requesting him of doing? Right? Right? So, Broski Bear's not wrong on that. Broski Bear's not wrong on that. He's saying that as a Bears fan. I think that's a fair statement by Broski. I can't be mad about that statement. It's a fair statement. Now, again, did we whiff on Bryce Young? I will say this, Broski Bear. I think that is soon to be told or soon to be shown. Right? I am giving last year a pass because if we're going to give guys like Mingo, Miles Sanders, who else that we're giving a pass? We're going to give Icky a pass. If we're going to give these other guys passes like that had a very bad year last year, we have to be willing to give the rookie quarterback the same thing, right? So have we whiffed on Bryce Young? That is soon to be told, right? Right? So, I mean, if we're giving these other guys passes, we have to be willing to give Bryce Young a pass. If we're all going to be fair here. I agree with that too, Broski. I think that I was just mentioning that earlier. And we're going to dive more in that cornerback room and those pass rushers as well. Now, another thing, who steps up at wide receiver? That's another thing because we talked about it last year, right? This is something I'm going to be looking at for in camp, right? Who steps up as the wide receiver? Deontay Johnson's the new guy on the block. You bring it. You got Mr. Reliable Adam Thielen still holding it down. But the Panthers have more. I think they need to bring more depth. I think they need more consistency. Now, again, they have the depth. I think it's more the fact that I would like to see maybe another veteran presence, a guy who's has had his name in the hat. Now, David Moore kind of brings that, but it's not that potential that we could bring in from someone else, right? But again, you have all the potential in the world with these young guys like Mingo, TMJ, and of course Xavier Legette. We can't forget about Amir Smith-Marset last year. But again, we need to see consistency, and that is key. The separation is going to be the biggest thing because it's been harped on and harped on and harped on. Xavier Legette's a promising rookie, but he needs to prove his worth. Terrace Marshall Jr., Jonathan Mingo, they need to show that they belong. I'm not going to just say Mingo is out of it. I think Terrace Marshall Jr., for me, he might be better off in another place, right? Again, that's soon to be seen. So will this group get it gel into a reliable unit, or will they just see a carousel of targets all season, right? Training camp and preseason will tell us that. I think that people need to understand that last year I didn't take training camp and preseason very seriously, right? I just took it as, okay, they're out there, and they're practicing. We're getting all this news. I guess I took training camp I honestly took training camp more seriously than I did preseason. But I didn't realize how important preseason is now until recently, until last year, right? Because really last year, we saw the flaws in the preseason game before it really happened into the regular season. Between the play calling, the offensive line, the wide receiver group, the quarterback, everything that we harped on and I was harping on him and preaching on last year. We saw it in the preseason game before it even happened. And my dumbass still predicted that team to win 10 games last year. Yeah. Yeah. Overly optimistic. And I'm not doing that again. Right. So from this group, I need to see separation. Right. Because this wide receiver depth chart is a puzzle waiting to be solved. Deontay Johnson is not that shiny new piece. Beyond him, Thielen, and the picture kind of gets a little fuzzy because, again, will Mingo break out? Can Leggett have that smooth transition into the pros? Can Marshall finally lived up to be that draft status, right? What he was drafted to be out of LSU. Those are the questions that need to be answered. And I think training camp is a place where that should provide some clarity or at least a good show, right? Now, is Ike Ekwonu ready to anchor the offensive line? Is he ready to be that guy we've been asking him to be? Right? That's the question I have. Like, he has been his start to his career has kind of been rocky. First season wasn't so bad. Last year was a big sophomore slump, right? Now, the third year tackle, again, has had his moments of brilliance. But again, there has been inconsistencies. We desperately need him to become a stalwart protector for Bryce Young. And even if it's not Bryce Young and it's somebody else that comes in and steps in, we still need him to be that guy, right? So with this new coaching staff and another year of experience, can that be the formula for Ekwonu? And, with his ups and downs, it's been a roller coaster ride. Last year, 11 sacks, 44 pressures. He's got to tighten things up. He's even came out and verbally said he's got to tighten things up. You bring in a new offensive line coach, right? Who's tasked to turn this potential into performance. So can Ekwonu finally become a rock solid left tackle that we need him to be? I think training camp can also give us a glimpse of that, right? And especially with these joint practices coming, you know? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Quan's in here. Appreciate you, Quan. Broski Bear's in here. Mad Chatter. Mad Chatter, it's about time you changed your name back to the Mad Chatter. I love it. I love it. All right. What's going on, Quan? Working, brother. How's it going? Day one. Nice. Nice. Uncle Quan's in here. Uncle Quan's in here. Can the defensive line hold up? It's another question heading into training camp. Can this defensive line hold up? Again, we were kind of just alluding to that, right? When we were talking about the depth chart to this defensive line. Again, it all comes down to with the fact that Derek Brown, Shy Total, O'Shawn Robinson, that's our starting front. And it's very formidable. But again, there is still depth concerns for me. The second and third units are unproven. There are doubts about their ability to step in without a noticeable drop-off. So for me, will someone from this depth chart surprise us, or will the starters have to carry the heavy load? I think the starting trio of Brown and Tuttle and Robinson's definitely solid, but what lies beneath is still a little murky to me. So again, can any of these backups step up and show that they're ready for the prime? Will LeBron Ray or Nick Durbin show some of those glimpses that they showed last year consistently and be reliable rotational pieces? Or will Jaden Crometti, the guy that a day 3 draft pick, step in and show the versatility that he brings to the field? Again, Training camp, that's another stage of where they could either, shine or stumble. Training camp's going to tell us a lot of where this team stands depth chart wise and the potential wise of this whole roster. All right. I think preseason will as well. Now hey guys, also there's been a lot of rumors that the NFL, because I was listening to the Pat McAfee show recently, and maybe there was an old clip, honestly, the Pat McAfee show, but I was listening to this clip and it had Roger Goodell on there, and Roger Goodell was talking about that they want to get rid of the preseason games. I'm interested to know in the chat from you guys, wherever you're watching, how do you feel about preseason? Do you think that they should just cancel preseason, make training camp longer, and then once training camp's over with, give them a week or two off and then head into the season? Like, I mean, how should they do that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm interested to what y'all think. Because I feel like last year with preseason, it really told us a lot about this team. All right, how effective can this new coaching staff be? Oh, did I skip one? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. I think I did, but maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. How effective will this new coaching staff be? That's the next question. Dave Canales and his fresh coaching crew bring new energy and ideas to the table. The big question is, can they translate that into wins? All right. Canales worked wonders with quarterbacks in his past gigs, right? Can he work those same wonders into a young Bryce Young? Will the new scheme and playbook be received by the players, right? And how will it be received, right? The training camp is going to prove that ground for these new strategies. The new coaches, new strategies, new expectations, right? So this team needs to hit the ground running. How quickly can they implement these systems with these guys? Will the players buy in? Can they improve from the last year's dismal record of 13.9 points per game, right? It's tough. Again, the training camp is going to be a crash course for this whole team, right? Same thing with this next group. Who's going to emerge as the tight end? Who is going to emerge as that tight end? Because this tight end group's been like a revolving door for the Panthers. Again, we were kind of talking about that earlier, right? Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas, Davion Sanders, right? They're all trying to get in here and get some snaps, right? I'll say Tommy Tremble's blocking is top notch, but can he become a reliable pass catcher? Will Sanders leapfrog the veterans, right? Thomas has shown flashes, but he needs to be consistent, right? Again, training camp is another proving ground for that. Training camp is where I feel like the offseason faced the reality of the field, right? For the Panthers. This camp is critically a juncture that we need to watch. Can Bryce take the next step? Can this wide receiver room find its groove? Can the defense stay strong? The new coaching staff make a difference, right? Another thing is that you've got the cornerback issue, right? Dane Jackson, again, stepping into the spotlight, replacing a guy like Dante Jackson. J.C. Horn, with healthy, is a beast, but his injury history is a concern, right? Again, the secondary is a mixed bag. We all know that. Again, Dane Jackson needs to prove he's more than just a fill-in and beyond them. The depth chart looks thin to me. But training camp is where we'll see if this group can hold its own or if the reinforcements are needed. And I still think that reinforcements are needed. It's not the fact that maybe even if this room steps up, even if that cornerback room steps up and Dane Jackson becomes a true number 2, J.C. Horn, of course, is healthy right now, and he's performing at the level that he was drafted to be. And Troy Hill is still showing his glimpses of last year. But the problem for me is, and in the back of my mind, and this also kind of goes for Austin Corbett too, there still needs to be reinforcements. I still think we need to get a true center, whether he becomes the backup or he becomes the starter. And the same thing for the cornerback room. I cannot sit here and hold my breath and hope that JC Horn can play a full season until proven otherwise. So whether they, again, like I alluded to earlier with that cornerback room, whether they go out and get a Dory Jackson, or they go out and get Xavier Howard, or they go out and get Gilmore, or whoever is available on the waiver wires, they need to bring somebody in. I don't care. Yeah, we saw guys like, and I was watching a podcast the other day. They were talking about this defensive group and the cornerback group. Again, yeah, DiCaprio Bootle had some good plays last year. Deshaun Jameson had that game against Justin Jefferson, right? But it was one game. That when we look at this cornerback room, right? Let me go back to this image real quick. When we talk about this cornerback room, we also got to think about the wide receivers that we're going up against in the NFC South. Right? We have to think about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney now, right? Now, I know he didn't show much there. I mean, he showed a little bit of glimpses there in Chicago, but I think on a fresh start somewhere else could be key for him, right? We're going up against guys that are there's guys on this list that are top 10 guys. Mike Evans, Chris Olave, Drake London, those guys could be all top 10 wide receivers. Right? I mean, you can't tell me that you feel comfortable when we look at this cornerback room that you're okay. And again, I'm going to get out of this. You can't tell me with the cornerback room you're okay with it. When we look again, when you look at the NFC South wide receivers, you can't tell me you feel comfortable and say, yeah, I'm comfortable with this cornerback room. I'm comfortable with the fact that, Dane Jackson's going up against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. And I only throw Kyle Pitts in there because he's a tight end that kind of moves like a wide receiver, you know what I mean? But, and I even throw Darnell Mooney out there because Darnell Mooney did show some promise in Chicago before DJ Moore got there. Y'all just can't tell me that you feel comfortable with this cornerback room. I saw a podcast the other day that was saying that DiCaprio Bootle stepped up. He's out there on the offseason training, working his ass off. Yeah, I've seen it too. Deshaun Jameson shut down Justin Jefferson for one game. So what? Besides JC Horn, what have these other guys done? Because JC Horn has been in the top 5, top 10, top 3 conversation when he was healthy. Well, when we look at this cornerback room, I just can't sit here and say I feel comfortable with it. Let me pull this up real quick. So we look at this, right? Dane Jackson, DiCaprio, Boodle, Willie Drew. Willie Drew's an undrafted. Got immense potential. If you go watch his when you go watch his highlights or go watch his game film, great. Looks like an absolute stud. But again, the NFL is a whole different level. Is Willie Drew gonna come out here and just shock the world? I can't rely on that. Same thing for J.C. Horn, or I mean, Deshaun Jameson. He had one game last year, guys. One game. Again, Troy Hill. He's great in the nickel, but you can't move him anywhere else. So again, whether they go out and get guys like, well, you can look at the CB free agents that are still available right now. Where is it at? It's slim pickings. Let's see. Status available. It's a 31-year-old Xavier Howard. You still got J.C. Jackson, Adoree Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. Looks like Steven Nelson. Again, when it comes to this, when it comes to the corners, it's slim pickings, man. It's slim pickings when it comes to these free agents. And the only, again, if we do anything, if I'm doing anything, I'm going after J.C. Jackson and Adoree Jackson. I'm bringing both of them in just because of the fact that they are younger, and maybe Evero can work with them. Xavier Howard, again, we've heard about his his off the field issues with baby mamas. I don't know if I want that distraction in the locker room. No offense. The guy's a stud when he's on the field. He's been a great corner there in Miami. Stephon Gilmore, again, he says he can still be a starter on any team in the NFL, and he truly believes that. And I don't doubt him because of what the guy's done. I definitely don't want Eli Apple because I can tell you right now, if you just want to watch someone get burned by Mike Evans every single time we play the Buccaneers, there's the guy that'll get burned by him. Another guy I may take a look at, maybe would be Darley Worley. And then really after that, it's just look at the paychecks alone. Look at the paychecks alone. That just tells you how much they're worth. And no offense to them, but they don't bring much to the table. Slim pickings for the cornerback room. The only thing I can also say, due to the fact of the Saints' financial strengths, the only thing I can say for the financial strengths for the Saints, if Marshawn Lattimore Now gets cut, and we go and get him. Again, that could be a thing. I don't know if he played for us or not. Yeah, he did. Back rookie year. Back in 2016. So again, when it comes, that's the biggest concern for me. Again, when we were talking about also like other concerns, like the center position, like if we go look at the center position that's still available, let me go look at the center position real quick. I still think Connor Williams is still available, and we'll get into the other positions. So, like for the center position, Connor Williams is still available. Did Connor McGovern sign with them? Is he locked in? No, is he locked in with them? Mm-mm. I mean, a Connor McGovern is a guy maybe we could look at. Like even Corey Lindsey, even if he's like a 1-year deal, like Connor Williams, Corey Lindsey, Scott Quisenberry, Connor McGovern. I mean, we could always bring back Pat Affline if y'all want. Y'all loved him as a center. We loved him. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, if I'm looking at anyone at the center position, like if we do decide to bring somebody in, it's definitely Connor Williams. It's definitely Connor Williams. Like Connor Williams is the guy that I'm looking to bring in if we're going to bring somebody in for the center position. Nobody else. Now, I know that we want to look at, so if we look at edge, or I guess you could say, I mean, these are the guys for the outside linebacker position. I mean, who do they have listed in here as outside linebackers? Marcus Golden wouldn't be bad, but I mean, these guys could play outside linebacker too. Like Emmanuel Ogba, Carl Lawson, and Yahweh. I would look at maybe looking to bring those guys in. Yeah, I would look at bring those guys in for the outside linebacker position. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Really, it's just those two positions, right? Unless you want to talk about middle linebacker. But I mean, we really don't need anybody really in the middle. I really would say. I mean, unless we wanted to bring someone in, but there are some linebackers out there. Some decent ones, honestly. But if I'm looking at the guys for the outside, I'm looking at these first three guys. I'm looking at Nyakwe, Carl Lawson, Ogba. Pretty sure Ogba and Nyakwe last year both had about 4 to 5 sacks each. I don't know how Carl Lawson did. I'm assuming probably about the same. But yeah, edge. That's who I'm looking at center wise. I'm looking at either Corey Linsley, Connor Williams, Scott Quisenberry, Connor McGovern. Those are the guys I'm looking at. And then probably for the cornerback position, I mean, I'm open to Xavier Howard, but again, JC Jackson, Adoree, Stephon Gilmore, and that's really it. That's really it. So those are the three positions I think we're most probably questioned about, right? So, again, these free agents are still available. So, if somehow, some way, waiver wires work out, or we decide to just bring in some guys, these are my top four: Xavier Howard, J.C. Horn, J.C. Jackson, Adoree Jackson, Stephon Gilmore. Center position again: Corey Lindsey, Connor Williams, Scott Quisenberry, and Connor McGovern. And then, of course, the edge, move these guys to outside. I'm looking at Inyakwe, Lawson, and Agba. So, I mean, as of right now, it's slim pickings, man. There's really not much out there. I mean, unless we make trades. And, of course, the waiver wires. The only thing that I could say that we can hope for the cornerback position, like the biggest hope, again, is that Saints ordeal. With the financial constraints that they're having, I've heard that Marshawn Lattimore could be a cut candidate because of the financial constraints over there in the Saints. Speaking of the Saints, don't know if y'all know this or not. This came out yesterday. It sounds like the Saints right tackle, okay? The Saints right tackle don't know if y'all saw this, because this is going to be huge for week 1. The Saints right tackle, Ryan Ramsky, on reserve pup, meaning he'll miss the first 4 games and has been cleared for some time. His season's likely over due to a lingering knee issue. Now, I don't think that I'm sitting here saying, thank God this guy got injured. I'm not. I'm just saying this is big news for the Carolina Panthers coming week 1 to go up against the Saints. The fact that they're starting right tackle, well, I think he's right tackle, is he not? Ryan Rams. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's right tackle. Or is that their left tackle? No, right tackle. That's right. I had it right. So right tackle, he's out, which means it's time for Jadeveon Clowney to eat week 1. This is a perfect time for Jadeveon Clowney week 1 to step into that role and dominate. I got another fun post for you. I got a fun one for you. All right. So RG3 put this up yesterday. This is what I posted, but he said, we have to settle this debate. Who are the top 5 fictional football players of all time? He said Steeman, Willie Beeman, from Any Given Sunday, Bobby Boucher, Waterboy, Earl, Maggette, The Longest Yard, Shane Falco, The Replacement, Spencer James, All-American. My top 5, but I did forget one that maybe I might switch someone out. I forgot the guy from Blue Mountain State. What was his name? Oh, my God. I saw it this morning. Thad Castle. So I kind of messed up my list. I forgot Thad Castle. But for me, Joe Kane, if you haven't seen the program, as a football movie, you need to. Such a good movie. All right. So I did Joe Kane, the program, Bobby Boucher, Waterboy, Shane Falco, The Replacements, Paul Crew, The Longest Yard, Willie Beeman, Any Given Sunday. So it's just a fun one. You guys can go interact. You forgot Uncle Rico. He's technically not a football movie, though. Or it's like he's not a fictional football character. But I forgot Thad Castle on mine. That's a big mistake from Blue Mountain State. So it's a huge mistake by me. Huge mistake. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how to get that. So go ahead and you can go over to the community chat and interact with that if you want, or go on Twitter. So yeah, man, broke down a lot today. Talked about, how close this team is. Again, it's not quite. If Bryce Young works out, I would say less than a year. or I would say probably. Well, I would say probably 2 years or less. That was one of the options. If he does work out, if not, it's going to be probably at least 3. Um, but we also broke down the defensive line depth chart for a training camp coming up, and then of course we broke down the full roster and the questions leading up to training camp that I think needed to be answered. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Thank you for everyone being respectful. Again, I'm trying to I'm trying to be more open minded, right? And I think I've been a little bit closed minded lately. So, um, but it is what it is. It was a good show. So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you pound the like button. We're trying to get this to 50 likes. I don't know where we're at right now. Looks like we're at, oh gosh, we got a long ways to go, guys. So do me a favor. Make sure you pound the like button. Make sure you pound the like button. The live goal today, of course, every live stream's 50 likes. So do me a favor, make sure you pound the like button. Whether you're coming in, coming out, I appreciate that. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream today. I will see you guys on Monday. Y'all know what to do. Have a good weekend. And of course, keep pounding. Peace.